Hi, I'm Martin Komay, and here's my English video final. The city of Chicago was originally founded in 1833. The poem, Chicago, by Carl Sandburg, was written in 1916, and that was where he called home before leaving in 1902. This information is just a little bit of background to Sandburg's relations to the city of Chicago for his poem, Chicago. Now I'll read to you the poem. Hog butcher for the world, toolmaker, stacker of wheat, player with railroads and the nation's freight handler, stormy, husky, brawling, city of the big shoulders. They tell me you are wicked, and I believe them, for I have seen your painted women under the gas lamps, luring the farm boys. And they tell me you are crooked, and I answer, yes, it is true, I have seen the gunmen kill, and go free to kill again. And they tell me you are brutal, and my reply is, on the faces of women and children I have seen the marks of want and hunger. And having answered, so I turn once more to those who sneer at this city, my city, and I give them back the snare, and say to them, Come and show me another. Come and show me another city with lifted head singing, so proud to be alive and coarse and strong and cunning. Flinging magnetic curses amid the toil of piling job on job, here is a tall, bold slugger set vivid against the little soft cities. Fierce as a dog with tongue lapping for action, cunning as a savage pitted against the wilderness. Bareheaded, shoveling, wrecking, planning, building, breaking, rebuilding. Under the smoke, dust all over his mouth, laughing with white teeth, under the terrible burden of destiny, laughing as a young man laughs. Laughing even as an ignorant fighter laughs who has never lost a battle, bragging and laughing that under his wrist is the pulse, and under his ribs the heart of the people. Laughing, the stormy, husky brawling laughter of youth, half-naked, sweating, proud to be hog butcher, toolmaker, stacker of wheat, player with railroads, and freight handler to the nation. The poem, Chicago itself, is one large metaphor with the comparison of the city, Chicago, to a young man. This becomes clear further into the poem, but for the first stanza, catching on to the tone of the poem as admiring comes, the tone, admiring, comes with a sense of ease through the use of hog butcher for the world, and stormy, husky, brawling city on the big shoulders. The diction here may sound like it's bagging on Chicago, but actually it's to positive means, where the hog butcher is someone who provides food for the entire city, and possibly the world, and the city on the big shoulders means it's on the rise and it's up and coming in the nation of America. The second stanza shows the use of personification, where the city is treated as a human being, able to hear words and believe them. And seeing the worst sides of town coming in the forms of painted women, who are prostitutes, which seems pretty obvious, but it took me a while, and the gunmen killing people again and again. Some information that seems important to this gunman that I focused on is that at the time that this poem was written, gangs and mafias, such as mobs and stuff like that, were big in Chicago up until the 1920s, early 1930s. And they tell me you are brutal, talking about how the city has been building a reputation of crime, coming from the mafia and other sorts, even though it is not any worse than a city around. Come and show me another city with lifted head singing, so proud to be alive and coarse and strong and cunning. Shows and symbolizes that Chicago was one of the great and upcoming cities around the world, not only in America. With little thought, a tall, bold slugger set vivid against the little soft cities puts an image of Chicago being this beautiful gem in the Midwest of the United States, advancing past all cities around it as one of the up-and-coming nations. Not nations, but cities. The line, fierce as a dog with tongue lapping for action, really shows Sandburg's admiring tone and puts the image of a dog drinking up water, but stands for Chicago looking for more action, looking for that next thirst that it can move on and become a better city and grow industrial as a tourist spot and a major part of the American economy. Wrecking, planning, building, breaking, rebuilding are the ways Chicago moves on bigger and better, with new improvements from being a travel center, a business center, and from all the lives and new lifestyles coming to the city itself. Laughing as a young man laughs helps set out the overall atmosphere of the poem through the use of personification. Laughing is an act that can be for a variety of things like humor, reflecting on the past, and at times even facing danger. Here, the city of Chicago laughs as it still gets up and moves past the criticism received from people around the world. This personification uses ribs and the heart of the people of the city as image for small roads, enterprises, networks, and the people that make Chicago what it is, considering all the roads, the steelwork, the freight trains, and all the jobs upon jobs that Chicago as a career center for the world provides. The last stanza uses repetition, restating parts of the first stanza to draw emphasis again to the half-naked, still developing city of Chicago. Carl Sandburg truly wrote this poem. To me, it seems that he wrote it in a mood of remembrance, and to talk brightly upon the city he once called home. He loved it there, he stated it multiple times in his life, and he only moved away because his life called for it. Thanks for listening.